Welcome to Talk of the Monarchy. This is episode 3 with Kieran Baggs. Kieran, thanks very much. It's been really good fun. First and foremost, though, have you enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
I'm treated like a king as well. The banana bread and the coffee non-stop. You can see why people are coming in.
I can't take any credit for the banana bread. That was Lucy, my other half, and it's great. And I think I've probably eaten most of it, but by all means, crack on. So, in this episode, we're going to be talking valuation, negotiations, and what happens when you hand over the keys. So, if you're happy for me to crack on, Kieran, I'll go for it. You touched on a bit of a segment in the last episode, and you were talking about that sort of exiting of the business and finding that middle ground and trying to maybe keep a friendship, or if you can keep a friendship when you do exit a business. And you mentioned valuation. How did you find an independent valuer, and was that sort of successful? Were you glad that you did that when you exited the business?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we spoke off air a little bit. It's like valuing a house. You know, if you want to sell the house, you're going to take a lower price. If you don't really want to sell it, you're going to wait and hold out for that higher price, right? Same as in the transfer market in football. It's best that your opinion's taken out of it and it's presented factually. And that's why I felt like with an independent valuation, you get a true reflection, all the data is presented, and then comes to the conversation is, this is what it's valued, this is what I want for it, pass it over. No, I don't think it's quite worth that. Come to a middle ground, negotiations done.
Rather than the gap being this big, the valuation gets it here, and it's like, right, there is a common goal. You want what's fair, he wants what's fair. You were happy to exit, but how can we...
And also you think, from my point of view, I've just put 11 years into a business, right? You want to make sure that time's reflected in the exit sale as well. So that was probably the most difficult conversations to have, but we weren't actually doing that face to face, because I just think that's obviously a recipe for disaster, right? Talking numbers.
You're going to get emotional.
You're
going to get angry and
So we had the independent valuation, and there was a mediator in the middle, and it was done professionally. And
how did you guys still run the business then? So you've got yourself, you've got Cherie and her involvement. You said she was definitely sort of mucking in terms of her involvement, and yourself. How were you talking about things that were happening in the business if it was maybe we are working towards the exit? Was that difficult?
Yeah, it was. And I think just people obviously hear
rumors
happen, right? And then nothing's been actually officially announced.
Full-time DPD driver.
Right. So it's conversations that, are you leaving, Kieran? I'm like, I've got, another opportunity coming up, this, that, and the other. And then it's making sure that, I guess your professionalism in classes is still good.
You're still on it.
Naturally, your enthusiasm starts to die, right? You know you're leaving. You're not fully invested in the long-term project. You're going to step away. I think it wasn't very long. It maybe been 4 weeks. So I don't think there was really any conversations needed about plans for the future. They were all sat with JD. So I think that was relatively quick, and you would just sort of...
Together in the business.
Yeah. It's still we still PT'd at the same time. We're still training. It was what it was, and it's amicable. It was no problem. And also, I have been there a very long time, right?
Of course.
I still have my rights to be there and finish at the end of the month, and then after that, handshake, whatever needs to be done, everything's signed, sealed, delivered, and move on our separate ways. I think there was obviously not in the plans was the fast track of taking over CrossFit Shearwater at the time, right? Which probably maybe left a little bit of a sour taste, that I've left one affiliate and opened up straight into another, but far enough to way that I'm not going to be knocking on people's doors for memberships, which is never
40 minutes.
Exactly right. So I set that up in the immediate short term. And then, as I said earlier, I've got a team of coaches that run that. I sort of operate it from behind a desk. I hardly coach at all anymore, but still involvement with the program and bits and pieces like that. Very much a passion project, but not to the same level that you and Rye are doing it.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that start time to the corporate gig that I've got now. So, it was just, I guess, making sure that everything's communicated properly, and maybe so that bit of communication could have been a lot better on my part, that when I left, maybe just a courtesy text to JD saying, look, I'm going to open up another CrossFit affiliate. But at that point, we've just had the sale, and maybe I think that it's far enough away for this, that, and the other, but it is what it is. Probably one of the things in hindsight I wish I was a little bit more open and transparent with the opening of Shearwater, but at that point, I didn't think it had any sort of effect on Civitas as a whole.
So John and Cherie have been together for the whole time that you and him were partnerships.
Yeah, so obviously I think that...
Has your relationship with Cherie, is there still a mutual one where
Seen her walking through town the other day. Greg's, hi, how you doing? You know, it's just pleasantries, whatever needs to be done. So I think that me and John have been best friends since 5. I think when John was 18, he met Cherie, and they've been together ever since. So even before CrossFit, you know, they've been together, and you know, they've started a family and built.
I'd love to get both John and Cherie on the podcast and have a natter with them both. And I touched you slightly off air. It was only off air actually because the mics didn't turn on. But I said to you that I imagine it can be quite difficult for Verity. So she's almost the Cherie in mine and Ryan's relationship, because if me and Ryan are stressed because of day jobs or anything else going externally in the business, and we don't necessarily communicate that well, and it could be a number of reasons, and there's loads of examples where it has happened, then she's always the soundboard. She's always like, almost like the mature one that's like, you know, banging our heads together. And I imagine Cherie has been in that place with you, because you and John best mates, but you couldn't have been getting on 100% at the time throughout the 10 years you worked together.
I will say, like, out of the whole 10 years we worked together, we didn't argue hardly at all. But when we did, it was a fucking big blowout.
Yeah.
You know?
Little things, the toilet light, and so you haven't scrubbed the floor or whatever.
That, like, I don't know, maybe 5-6 times across the 10 years, like, we're at each other's neck, like, you know, over text or whatever, and it's a bit frosty the next day, and then you do a workout, you fist bump each other like blokes do, right? And then it gets
do you want a coffee?
Out. Do you want a beer? And I'd say that's no different to how the exit plan went. It was just there was no opportunity to see each other afterwards. So that's probably the best way I could describe it.
Would you do anything differently in like that exit negotiation process? Now you've had time to reflect.
I would have probably put a message out to all the members, which I didn't do. It just got as like a generic goodbye post, like, you know, show some love for Kieran in the members page, like he's moving on to pastures new. If I would have done things differently again, but it was probably at the crossroads where I didn't actually know what was happening with the vetting and going into the corporate role, that I didn't want to shout about it too much in case it bit me in the ass, right? So if I had that sort of almost that job security when I left Civitas, knowing that it was 100% guaranteed, that I would have said, look, I'm going to leave to go onto this new job. I wouldn't have needed to open up another affiliate straight away as a sort of a backup plan. So that would have just the communication to the members as I left. And I said that was one of probably my strongest points throughout my whole time as an affiliate owner in Civitas, that I would take the time to individualize each person and get to know them. I wasn't telling anyone, not even like Sharps and Jim and Coops, that were like closest to me at that time, the situation. Then once it happened, it's signed, sealed, delivered, I'd pick up the phone and tell them. So I couldn't really say anything for X, Y, and Z, but you know, this is the situation. So I think I spoke to you off there. That was probably my biggest worry when I left. It's like, are all these people going to be your friends still because you're not in the gym?
I'm so glad you brought it up, right? It's down on my list. It's right far down, but the way that our conversation was going, you said in our pre-interview, like, you're obviously the face of the gym. Everyone knows who you are. Everyone wants to know who you are. You've been there a long time. You've got some members who've been there from the beginning. Equally, some of them are your closest friends. But was that like nervous? Like, are these my friends? Was that also, as a caveat to that, did you care? Because you are older and you obviously understand that having 20 mates isn't as important as having just 2 good ones. So how did you navigate that? And like, was it a worry?
Yeah, I was really insecure when I first left, right? Like, what's everyone saying at the gym? You know, or what's everyone's perception of me now I've left? Am I still going to be speaking to these people because they think that I've just fucked off and opened another affiliate down the road, you know? So like, there was all these sort of question marks over it. So that was the insecurity of, you know, are all these people still going to remain my friends? And I think I spoke to you about it off there. The people that you see every single day are not necessarily your closest friends, right? Yeah,
of course.
And the people that are closest to me are still close to me now. So that was just overcoming that initial sort of, I guess it's FOMO, right? Fear of missing out on what you've been part of for so long, right?
Yeah, agreed.
What are they doing for the comp this year? You know, or like, what's their next merchandise drop? And then like, slowly I'm getting further and further down the line, it's just not important to you anymore, is it? Whereas before, it's been super important. You've had that
was your life,
and for 10 whole years. And
did you get anyone give you any like silent treatment or anything weird?
No, not too. To be honest, not really. No, like, I guess I had like a couple of like people that I was relatively close to in the gym. Like when I was like announced as the coach over at Shearwater, saying, "The fuck, I thought you were knocking CrossFit on the head," and I'm like, can't tell you the exact truth right now, but I just needed to have something short term, this, that, and the other. And then obviously once that corporate role gets announced, and I can move into
Life
that
sort of
sector,
changes.
and I can message saying, so I wasn't talking shit. Like I just couldn't say anything at that period.
How if you're happy to say, and if you're not, or you can give me a corporate answer, you know what I mean, whichever's easiest. When did you know about the opportunity with Shearwater? When was that possibly?
Really, really last minute. And I genuinely think it was the day I was leaving Civitas. I'd done my first morning class. Buns, who owns the Armory, a friend of ours, right? He said that he's been left in the shit. CrossFit Warminster are moving out of the Armory up the road to a new venue. He's been left with nothing. Can you come in and clean up this mess? And I was like, well, actually, it's probably perfect timing, right?
Yeah.
So invested a little bit of startup into it, got the changing rooms in, showers put in, rejigged everything, set up, WOD board with the membership base, got it back up and running in pretty much like 4 weeks. And then it's been slowly churning out. So that was the most last minute of the decisions. Right. And I was thinking at the time, let's say for whatever reason that the corporate gig didn't work out, right? After 3 months, what the fuck have I done? I'm really shit at this.
Yeah.
I need to go back to, teaching people how to do power cleans and muscle ups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
At least I've got that in the background to fall back on. And I still was able to have like a really good coaching team. Had like a videographer that would do all the social media. So it was running really nicely.
Good.
I just couldn't be invested in it as much as I was with Civitas.
You've mentioned that's sort of been more remote. Obviously, priority needs to be the new corporate gig. Is it been as enjoyable running it remotely, or is it just different?
Different for sure. Like when I'm there, I really enjoy it. Like, when if I've got to cover a shift on a Wednesday night, just throw my joggers and hoodie back on and get stuck
Game
into
face.
it. Yeah, and I haven't coached nowhere near as much as I had to, but you almost get that sort of surge of energy to coach again a little bit like when you play football. If you had a couple of weeks off, you're hungry to get back into it, right? But the opportunities have just not been there with how busy I am in the other areas of my life. So it has become like a backseat in terms of running the business, but I still think that the coaching team that's there is really, really good. Like, everyone's fully qualified. They're all PTs there. They're all invested into the business. They coach their shifts. They get paid their salary. So it is almost like I am running them things from behind the laptop rather than like day-to-day operations.
Yeah, nice. Is there anything that you've tried to implement there and replicate, obviously from your experience at Civitas, that hasn't worked? So this worked at Civitas. Like in your head, you're like, well, it has to work here. And you've tried to do it and it's been like...
Yeah, 100%. Like the morning classes at Civi are like fully booked, people on wait lists non-stop. Yeah. You can't pay people to come over at 6:30 in the morning in Shearwater,
Fine.
So evening classes really good. Weekend classes are massive. We have the high rocks opportunities there because of the sled track and the space they got there, which are really, really busy.
It's one of the things that you've definitely banged the drum with me about. Get your High Rocks affiliation. People will come to do High Rocks, see that you do CrossFit. They'll quickly come over and do both. And I've even seen you on the affiliate pages writing similar things like, look, for the money there's a couple of memberships. You can make that up in no time.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that still as big and profitable?
Yeah, it's bigger than CrossFit over there.
Really?
Yeah, it's way bigger than CrossFit. We have like our High Rocks classes. We've now got 5 High Rocks classes on a week, and they're way more popular than CrossFit. I just think that's just a different dynamic. Whereas at Civitas,
the facility is great for it.
Yeah, for sure. Over the Armory, it's just got the space. But Civitas is CrossFit, and you know what you get. You go to CrossFit Civitas for CrossFit, and you don't go for anything else.
Are there any more classes?
Yeah, I think so. I think the memberships, the timetable has been included with the new membership. I think they've got more morning classes on. I think they're on a Friday. They were doing like a 6 and a 7 to accommodate the busier mornings.
The Civitas aren't High Rocks affiliated?
No, I don't believe so. Not unless I've missed the boat. But over our place in Shearwater, we have different coaches for this. We have like the spin classes, we have the yoga classes, we have CrossFit and High Rocks. Is very much that sort of hybrid approach that's really popular at the moment, and it's sort of not planned that. Just whatever it's fallen into. And I'd say CrossFit out of all of those classes is sort of the quietest. Yeah. So whereas it used to be, it's like a partner WOD Wednesday. Remember what it used to be like?
Yeah, mate, absolutely.
It's absolute chaos and people like really buy into it. But I think it's just a different dynamic and a different catchment area over there. The stuff that I've thought might work from Civitas, the partner WOD Wednesdays, drive straight in with big CrossFit comps, go towards SIDS. They're not interested. They want those long aerobic, sweaty workouts that are really popular at the minute, and people are coming more for the High Rocks than they are for the CrossFit.
Yeah, no, that's fair. In terms of, you've mentioned the coaching staff and how there's sort of PTs over at Shearwater, and the coaching staff there are impressive. How do you maintain the quality in that, the deliverables of those coach, whilst maybe not being there all the time? Is that difficult to manage?
That is probably the hardest thing to manage. Now, the biggest thing I did when I went into the Shearwater is the coaching staff needed to get upgraded in terms of qualifications, right? So I've put them through their CrossFit level 1s. Although not the answer to everyone's prayers, no. It is making sure that you've got that tick box next to your name if you are coaching CrossFit,
and it's
right?
a confidence, as well, right?
And that's the biggest thing. And also, I'm there. We're really transparent with feedback. You can obviously judge. This is a really good indicator, right? And I think this is one for any affiliate, unless you are giving them the graveyard shift, right? Which coaches have got the biggest wait lists, or the biggest attendance in those classes, right? And sometimes that can change. Like if you've got a Monday night, it's going to be popular. But if you've got a set person on a set time, like a Tuesday night, we've got Dyer does Tuesday night, right? Everyone loves it. They flock to his classes on a Tuesday night, so he's doing a good job because everyone wants to do his classes, which is probably a fair indicator, right? A little bit different if on a Friday night you've given a coach a sole 4:30 shift on a Friday. People want to get in, get it done. That might not be a fair reflection, but on the sort of whole surface of that, like if you've got like a really enthusiastic coach that's invested into it, their classes will be busier than not. Yeah,
you can't teach someone to care, can you?
No, absolutely.
You can put all the qualifications in front of them as you like, but you definitely can't. You definitely can't teach someone to care. You mentioned it earlier. You mentioned that your time at Caution as a football manager was probably to have your own sole thing as dynamics were changing in Civitas as a business. How do you fill that void of no longer being Kieran from Civitas? Is it with Shearwater? Do you not need it now? So like from an ego point of view, you're like, I don't need it. I've now got the family and the new job. Like, is there a void to fill, or is it?
Not anymore. To start with, like I said, it was almost like the FOMO of the first few months, right? Like, what's everyone going to think of me? I've left Civitas is all I've ever known, and so maybe for the first 2-3 months, I was a little bit paranoid or a little bit fearful of the perception of people. But like now, what I'm doing in my personal life, I don't have any need for that to be filled by coaching or being a football manager. I do them both as hobbies, much the same as yourself. And operate it like that. If I felt like something was missing in my life, then I would obviously gravitate towards that, like I always have done, because you don't want to have that sort of emptiness in your life. But I have not felt like that in the slightest. Maybe, like I said, the first 2 months, it's a massive change. It feels like that, almost like that divorce. That's sort of the feeling it had. And then like JD kept the house and the kids and whatever else, and I've walked away with a fucking tail between my legs or whatever, and then it's all up to you though, then to like sort of build yourself back up, right? So do I care that people don't see me as the affiliate owner anymore? Not at all. Maybe I did at the start, but not at all now. Do I care that people don't see me as the CrossFit coach to go to anymore? I don't get asked those CrossFit questions anymore? No, like that's not something that even crosses my mind now, especially with the new job and hopefully what the future holds.
Yeah, nice. And you've touched on the new job. So for the viewers out there, I've probably spoken about some of the natural skill sets that you possess that are making you, successful in your new job. You've touched on some transferable skills. What is the new job? If you were to give it to me in absolute layman's terms?
I think the easiest way to describe it is, so my actual title is Client Delivery Executive. So I deliver the client's experience once they're with my company. In layman's terms, the most glorified account manager that is accessible 24/7, right?
Yeah.
So go through from the moment they sign a contract with the company all the way through their lifespan, if they ever need anything day to day in terms of fitting out for their original project and their go live date, and then everything else that they do throughout their time with the company. So the transferable skills have been super helpful,
Yeah, sure.
Babysitting people non-stop, whatever needs to be done, right? On call, on WhatsApp, whatever it needs to be done. That for me, there's less work to do looking after these clients that I have done for the last 10 years. So it actually feels like a lighter workload at the moment.
Yeah. But let's say you're dealing with multi-million-pound projects and you need to let them down. Is there like a strategy that you've been trained in the corporate job, or is this something where you're like, this isn't even that difficult. I've had to have way harder conversations,
yeah,
and I've built that trust and rapport with them. Again, you've done that thousands of times for thousands of people. But yeah, if you've got to tell someone something's not going to quite be on time or there's going to be over budget, difficult to have, or walk in the park?
Always difficult to have. But I think why I've been so successful in this side of the business is that, again, you're building up that trust and rapport and that constant communication. I think as long as you're open and transparent with everyone all the time with your clients, right? There's obviously certain things that you can try and get sorted before it even goes to air, right? If there's going to be bad news, don't hide away from it, and then try and be part of the solution rather as part of the problem. But I actually genuinely feel like that's the easiest part of my job, is just communicating with customers and clients, and internally building relationships to make sure that you're front of the queue for orders and things like that, like the sweet talking side of it and whatever needs to be done. That has been really natural to me with what I've had to do in my whole lifespan throughout Civitas, where some people, that doesn't come very naturally to them.
It's a skill, mate. So I've you mentioned it earlier, and it might have been in the second episode, and you mentioned imposter syndrome. So you've obviously seen a couple of my posts around it, and I delivered something recently in terms of numbers. No one else in my business has been able to deliver it before. Certainly not in the very short space of time, or anywhere close to the short space of time that I delivered it. And my partner bought me a bottle of whiskey to say, well done. So I was having a glass of whiskey, and she might have said something super supportive because she's great, but something along the lines like, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
And you should be proud of what you've done. And I was quite dismissive, like, oh yeah, like, it's a bit embarrassing. I don't quite dismiss it. And I said, well, anyone could have done it. And she's like, no, they couldn't.
Yeah.
No one could have done this, this, and this without being flustered like you did, without doing this. You preempted this, like, because she's been part of the journey, like, we spend a lot of time together. And then she's like, all of those skills I don't have. I don't know anyone else who's got them, and you've got them at working at pace like this. And she's like, give yourself some fucking credit. And it was like, yeah, I probably need to. Do you know what I mean? But with you, there are certain bits where I'm like, no shock that you've gone to a corporate role. I don't imagine you are looking back at all because of like duck to water.
Yeah.
When you're now in this sort of role, is there, I don't know if regrets is the right word, but is there regrets about not doing it sooner?
It's the never ending pursuit of perfection that everyone is part of, right? And no matter what I was doing, whether that was football manager, working as a coach at Civitas, or now in the corporate role, I want to be the best at it, and I might fall short, but my ambition is to be the best at it. If I'm cooking dinner at home, I want it to be the best dinner of the week, whatever, you have those those standards. So for me, I don't think I've been in a position 5-6 years ago, to step into that. I just don't think I was mature enough as a person. I don't think that I had the skill set to move comfortably into a corporate scenario, and I genuinely didn't even consider it.
We're going to come towards the end of our chat, and we'll wrap this up. What do you miss most about that Civitas? So I'm going to call that like your first baby. Yeah. What do you miss most about Civitas?
For me, I just think the early years was really special to me.
Kind of carefree.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And you're like these two idiots that are just best mates, and you just open something off of a whim, and it's turned out to be fucking great.
Yeah.
Both young, both didn't have mortgages, like, and there's sort of like no responsibilities. We turn out, we think about what we're training, like what's the most exciting thing we can do to put CrossFit on the map in Wiltshire.
Yeah.
The next merch drop, the next big comp we got planning up. Like, I remember, like, this was early on when JD just got into videography. He would like send me the videos the night before with like a 50 Cent song on the background, and I'd be like watching it like 10 times in a night because it like just showcases the excitement around the gym. That, like, I guess, creation, because CrossFit was obviously one of my first loves. So I absolutely loved CrossFit for so long, and I still do to an extent. It's knowing that, like, will I ever love anything as much as that sort of period of time again? So like that, they call it the good old days, don't they?
Mate,
and the OG gets thrown around loads now. Well, you're an OG, but that, like, people that were in that era of Civitas, like yourself as well, it's like that OG CrossFit era, the Rich Froning winning 5 in a row or whatever it was.
Mate, I agree. And I actually noticed, so when I left Civi, and I think I was over in Froome for a couple of years, and I didn't really duck into CrossFit that much took a bit of a break out of it, and then I came back. I joined SW1 in Chippenham for a couple of years. That's where I met Rye again, and then we decided that we should open our own place. I definitely saw a change in CrossFit, and I think that was at the start. It was just really hard,
raw.
And you'd go to someone, people go, "Oh, you do that CrossFit, don't you?" You go, "Yeah," and they go, "Fuck me, that's well hard." And you go, "Yeah, it is," and you were proud of that.
It was a badge of honor.
Yeah, it was a badge of honor. It changed a lot. I think my love for it changed, and now it's like kind of back again. One thing I've noticed with the recent opens is I felt like the open was
shit.
Yeah. They were trying to make it too accessible, almost like, oh, High Rocks have come in and done great. We need to make it really simple so everyone will do it. And it's like, no, that's what scales are for.
Yeah.
Do it really hard, because that's what it's meant to be. It's meant to be really, really hard. And I think with their current ad campaign, they've realised this. They've kind of come away from it. You're not High Rocks. There's a reason why you're not High Rocks. And now they've gone back to the get in great shape, takes hard work, and it's this quite hard hitting campaign. But I think it's taken, CrossFit has been a really confusing place. I think
it's just been watered down a lot is the easiest way to say it. Because, and I think that comes down to numbers, right? I think for the open signups, the easier the workouts are going to be, or more accessible, is the more signups you're going to get, right? So it comes down to finances again. Whereas in the old days, no one gave a fuck about the money, did they? In CrossFit, it was like, the workout starts with 30 ring muscle-ups. If you can't do it, don't do the fucking open. Whereas now, and you'd spend the whole 12 minutes of that AMRAP trying to get your first ring muscle-ups, right? Whereas it doesn't happen anymore. Like the first one's the buy-in, right? They get your money, and this one is, it's 21 down-ups, 21 dumbbell snatches on the right, 21 dumbbells on the left. And anyone can do it. And then the second one's a little bit harder, and then they only do 3 now. It used to be 4. It's because... And then
they make the third one the highest skill one. But this year I actually really enjoyed. It was chest to bars, when it was thrusters, weight went up, bar muscle ups, weight went up.
Yeah, it was a cool workout.
That was a really good one. But I remember the first one that I did at Monarch, and the opening one was like 50 cows, 40 wall balls, 30 toes bar,
20 power cleans.
And then 10 ring muscle ups, or
that was an old repeat one.
Mate, it's really good, and I'm like, I hope that the message and the direction that they're going in is sort of.
I'd just like it to be better communicated to everyone as well, right? Like this is the vision for CrossFit as a whole, and this is the way we're going to go. Because at the minute, you all got to make it up as you go along. Right? Whereas in the old days, whatever Rich Fronin was doing, we all wanted to do as well. Which again, rightly or wrongly, whatever it was, but everyone bought into it. Right?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think if I was HQ. I'd have a regional manager for the Southwest, Southeast, Midlands, North, Scotland, and that person's job would be to tier the affiliates. They would go there, and you would be a CrossFit gym gold standard, CrossFit gym silver standard, CrossFit gym bronze standard. Bronze would just be, you've opened up the gym and you've got the qualifications. Congratulations. The silver would be another few metrics in terms of class environment, business, is it making profit, exactly. And then gold standard would be, we'll just say bath, for example, because that's how it should be done. And it would make CrossFit gyms be more conscientious about training their staff, developing their staff.
Have more credibility.
Credibility, absolutely. There could be 5 CrossFit gyms in Chippenham that they all think are the same. It's like, nah, one of us is gold. Do you know what I mean? It's a bronze. Absolutely. So I think there needs to be more from them. Whether we see that or not will be quite interesting.
We spoke about it as well, and I don't know if it's still relevant because I've not been in the sort of world of it as deeply as I was. You can do a CrossFit level 1 online and not even have to do a test, and then you pocket the accreditation, right? And you can go and open a CrossFit affiliate, or you used to be able to.
You used to be able to.
Me it's changed a little bit now.
They changed it 2 years ago.
I really, really liked the level 2.
Yeah, brilliant course. That should be the level 1.
I thought it was the structure of the class. It's a next level up. The test is fucking hard. Right. I failed mine the first time. Like, no problem. I had to retake it.
So they take the test away now.
Okay.
Yeah. So what they do, and I think this is important because they basically do a overview at the end and just make sure that you've picked up the basics of the seeing, correcting, and all the rest of that stuff. Class management, queuing, and stuff like that. And then they basically give you a little bit of feedback in the end. Some people can just be scared to fail.
Yeah.
So taking the test away makes sense. But what they should do is, it shouldn't be level 1, level 2, which should really be the level 1. And then now it's all about self-development and just memorizing the book to get level 3. That should be like level 10. where I know everything off by heart and I'm a fucking CrossFit ninja. That's it, right? 3, 4, 5, 6 should be more seeing and correcting in more depth. It should be, barbell related stuff. It should be non-stop, and it shouldn't be £1,000 a course. It should be, if you're part of an affiliate and you did this last year, you get it for 250 quid, and that would encourage
after people.
Yeah, it would encourage you to go, I want to be better. I want to keep educating, and then the standard is kept at such a high level. Like we do individual training in our gym, so we do a coaches night basically every quarter on a Friday. We get everyone in, we work on a subject.
How many coaches have you got?
8 now.
Okay.
Yeah, so we used to do it every month, and it was getting a bit too much. So we've now taken it down to quarterly. But like, that's down to us wanting to keep the standard high.
Yeah.
And I just think that should be driven from the fucking top. Why would you not? You've got a product that actually, arguably, High Rocks have stolen, made simpler, and are more successful. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it's just a better business plan, isn't it?
Just a better business plan, exactly. Like, why would you not then try and drive it up? Because High Rocks can't really change.
No.
It can't really get any bigger than it is now. You've seen Affex now go European and even announce America, just copying the High Rocks model. But you are CrossFit, the originator. You've got the science behind it, and you're doing nothing to drive it. It's like mind blowing.
And that, for me, is the reason why CrossFit feels so watered down at the moment, because there's no direction. And I don't think that's just the year, by the way. I think that's obviously since Glassman left, in my opinion.
And
I rightfully stepped down at the time for what the comments that he'd made, but they didn't have anyone to step in and take that sort of leadership. Because whether you agreed with Glassman's methodology and the way he operated, you knew what it was. So if you wanted to do it, this was what it was, and this is the standard, this was the direction. Now, I can tell you what CrossFit's plans are. Do you know? Do you get communicated?
No.
High Rocks, you know exactly what events got coming up. You can train towards Birmingham, Manchester.
One thing I will say, I think Ed now runs the UK regional, the Welsh guy. I can't remember his surname. Probably Davis. no, I'm not sure. But I know that I could DM him and he'd come back to me. High Rocks.
Yeah, you don't know.
I wouldn't have a clue that my account manager is or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So you don't get a lot. Equally, High Rocks' affiliation fee is 1/10 of what CrossFit is. So I suppose it can go. And also,
you've learned the CrossFit. You learn the High Rocks movements. They don't change. So you get good at running, and you keep repeating that you're going to get faster times, and you get better, right? And it's a marker. And the reason that High Rocks is successful is because the marketing's really fucking good.
Marketing's good, and they've made it accessible to anyone.
And the event, when you go there, I don't know if you've done one.
I haven't yet.
I've done one, and I say to you now, it's one of the best events I've ever done in fitness, because
everyone tells me
feels like showcase.
Yeah.
And even though that you're doing it for the first time, you could be wearing a fancy dress costume round, or you're taking it really seriously and you're going off into that elite category on the pro weights. It is. I know the judging standard gets hammered, which is fine, but
it's a lot of judges.
Yeah, loads of judges, and there's loads of areas it can be improved. But the actual cookie cutter for each of the events, like you turn up, you've got the John Cena music, and they're in the smoke goes, they've got the banners, everything's like Puma, it's a really, really cool venue. Whereas me and you put a CrossFit comp on, we've got to have caution tape and our own barriers that we've got from somewhere, do you know what I mean? So it's all relevant, whereas there's nothing like CrossFit like that.
Equally, you've thrown your own CrossFit comp.
Yeah.
Successfully.
Really successful.
And we've thrown a couple where the feedback, I mean, they're successful, they're sold out, but the feedback has been like, that was fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Where can you go?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's always that sort of cut-off, whereas High Rocks is massive, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'd love to have support from, I think now, right, if you want to, you can have yourself as a CrossFit accredited comp now, so you can pay £1,000 to be called an official CrossFit comp.
Right.
What do you get for it? Fuck all, nothing. So again, it's just like, give us some support as affiliate owners.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I put a post out. By the time someone sees this, it'll say 3 weeks ago, but it's a few days ago. And I was saying exactly that. It's thin on the ground for what your affiliates get and for what we pay, man.
Oh, it's a lot.
Yeah, like every other cost in the world. Mate, so I've got, this is the last 5 minutes. It's going to be quick fire. Favourite workout still to do? It's got to be a CrossFit workout.
Cindy, 100%. And do that absolutely anywhere. 20-minute AMRAP. But you can do it with strict pull-ups, you can do it with kipping pull-ups, butterfly pull-ups, push-ups, and then the air squats, and you can absolutely nail it, or you can just chill through it and have a sweat. I feel like you can do that workout actually anywhere on earth.
We did that recently. How many?
Well, I don't know. I think maybe like 22, 23 was quite good back in the day. But
yeah. I got 24.
Yeah,
I was happy with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to check my. I used to write it down in a book, but I don't know anymore. Yeah, that's number one for me.
One coaching cue you'd ban forever. Yeah, so one cue that you heard before or you hate.
You'll laugh with me because we used to do it all the time, but when someone just shout hips,
it's
just fucking bollocks.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Yeah, hips and just
what?
Yeah,
what?
like that cue can get in the bin for me. Yeah, for sure.
Nice. How'd you have your steak?
Medium rare.
Yeah, nice. Favorite steakhouse?
Pasture in Bristol.
Pasture is good. Have you tried Walcott in Bath?
I have gone to Walcott recently, actually on a Friday night. I had a very nice steak there.
Did you buy a?
Yeah, Chateaubriand one. It was very good. Yeah, it was really, really good. But I think for the ambience and the surroundings in Pasture and like the starters, I think you got to book more options, and the puddings and the drink selections all round for me locally. I'd say Pasture, but you've got to wait 3 months to get in there.
Yeah. No, agree. Probably fortunate. I've probably done Walcott 6 or 7 times this year.
Chateaubriand every time.
Yeah,
it's expensive.
Yeah, I wish. Straight on Monarchy.
Yeah.
But no, like kilo of steak at least. Yeah, you're not getting a lot of change out of 300 quid, but I certainly get my chow down. It's definitely good. A personal record you're proud of outside of the gym? Could have been what we just spoke about actually, in terms of that the nudge from the
maybe not necessarily a personal record, but like a personal achievement. Just starting again from scratch at 35 is like something that I'll be really, really proud of. I think something
and being successful.
Absolutely, yeah, and taken to it is quick as I have in a year, and to get the feedback from executive committees is always really pleasing. So that would be probably the achievement I'm most proud of outside of the gym related arena, is just being brave enough to go and restart.
No, mate, I think that's a great one. And then last one, a book or podcast that has shifted your mindset or the way in which you're thinking, either recently or previously.
I read Phil Jackson's book, The Chicago Bulls Coach, and his autobiography about when they went on that mad run in the 90s and his coaching philosophy. And I've done that a long time ago. JA lent me that book actually, and I've still got it. He'll probably say shocked as I don't give anything. Yeah, that was a really, really cool book, and I was massively into the Bulls documentary as well. Yeah, when I watched that, Michael Jordan's mentality. Yeah, Michael Jackson would have been a good one.
Michael Jackson would have been good on the old Chicago Bulls.
So yeah, that tied in really nicely, and that's probably the last one I've been massively into. I do need to get some good recommendations on podcasts. I listen to a lot of football ones, and the high performance one, the Triple H one not long ago.
Okay, I haven't done that one. Cool. I like Chris Willock's. I like High Performance is a good one. I will send you a list actually. I've got 4 or 5 on my Spotify. I'll just screenshot it nice and easy and ping it over to you. But all of those are quite good from like a mindset, performance. Yeah. Also, the things that they probably taught me and things that I probably maybe gravitated a little bit towards more wellness is this maybe giving yourself a little bit of a break. I'm not very good at sitting with some achievements, or the achievement was X and then I hit it and it's like, needs to be that. Do you know what I mean?
And that's what it goes back to for me, is like that endless pursuit of perfection. Like you've delivered this project, you've got some really good feedback. You're like, what's next? Because you're ambitious and you want to be hungry for that next step, or that next paycheck, or that next bonus, or that next commission, or and that can be like from an athletic standpoint as well, right? You want that. You hit that 100 kilo snatch, and you think, well, I need to hit 105 now, 110, right? Rather than just actually saying that's a massive milestone for you. Give yourself a pat on the back. So nice. I think the ambition side of things just is always going to stay with you because of who you are, right?
You're absolutely right, Kieran. That's everything. I've really enjoyed it, mate. I'm glad that we got a chance to sit down, and I'm sure we'll sit down again. Good luck in everything you do with ARC. Thank you very much for your open honesty on Talk of the Monarchy. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, been really good fun. And thanks for the hospitality.
Mate, no, my pleasure. Lucy's pleasure, even, right? I can't take any credit for that. Guys, thank you very much. That's all for episode 3 of Talk of the Monarchy. I will announce our next guest in the next few days. Thank you very much. Cheers, bro.
Cheers, mate.